the classic thumbnail that I've just shown you. It's stacked up like so, and I've put a boundary line above and below to sort of focus the energy, if you like, of that effect. You can make the line with a simple V-tool, or you can use a small veiner, which is a number 10 or 11, about 2 mil, 1/16 of an inch, just a simple line along here. I want to show you now some variations on this simple 4-part thumbnail. So what I've done here is I reversed each thumbnail. The other thing you can do is you can alter the distance between each thumbnail. You can make them tighter or further apart. This is the same distance in between as it is the thumbnail itself, but you can make that narrower. You can also, of course, make them longer in this direction. So you have these sort of variations you can do for a start. You can also stack them up in rows like this. Additionally, you can turn the whole thumbnail round at 90 degrees, and I'll show you that now. You can put these thumbnails one after the other like this. Make your stab cut and then your longitudinal cuts like so. You can also stack them reversing in rows. So when you draw this out, you make your stab cuts on the line here at opposite directions, so that when you cut in this direction here, you start from just inside the line, so you get this nice little flat edge. Don't come right up to the edge of the stab cut for the next thumbnail. Now when you cut along the grain, it's actually much more difficult than cutting against the grain, because you can get the fibres running off to the side and you're trying to go parallel with it. So make sure your tool is really sharp, take the cuts lightly, and in particular consider making slicing cuts like this, so you actually slice the wood as you go along. If you look at this side of the board here, you'll see a different feel to the pattern, and this is because I'm shortening the flute part, the hollow part of the thumbnail, in which case you don't need these 4 cuts in the same sort of way. Let me show you that now. What I've got here is a series of triangular cuts, short triangular cuts, and I've alternated them. You can draw a series of grid lines so that the thickness of the tool is evenly spaced this way, and divide it into thirds between the top and the bottom cut. And then coming down 2 thirds, you can make your first triangular cut across here, working all the way along here, and then reversing, going on the other side, turning the wood around. So you start with a cut like so, but instead of making the big scoop like you did before, you basically come in at a straight line, and because you're now coming to the tip and the tip of that arc, and the tool is actually burying, you can almost always do that in one cut, so straight down like that. I'll do another one here. Stab cut in slightly at an angle, then straight down like so. But if you don't get to the corners, you can just do this little tilting, and certainly feel free to make a second or a third cut if you need to. So you would work your way all the way along like this, turn the wood around and work your way all the way along the other way, and you'll get this sense of a pattern going in between. For this pattern here, which is the one I've shown you on the breadboard, the flute part, the actual cut, scooped part, is really short, and you reverse it again. So you would take a line and you would start running your stop cuts like this. You're stabbing them down one after the other. So you work your way along, and then you can do this by eye. You're really just making a little scooping cut round here like this. And here's another one. And it's just a little cut. You can make it a little bit bigger, like so, or a little bit smaller. It's up to you how you want to play it. Make sure you don't lever under this chip, as you, this arc here as you come out. Then you reverse the wood and do it the other way around. And you can stack these sort of energy bands one above the other to make a really interesting pattern. I'm holding the board up so you can see these a little bit more clearly. This is a practice board in which I'm playing, just playing around, seeing what sort of designs I can make. Notice that this pattern here, you can see the uncut space in between quite clearly, and that's something to emphasize. Here in this one, when you just see one like this, it doesn't look very much, and you can make this cut here bigger, but when you put them together you get quite a nice energetic sort of effect, which is what you see on the breadboard. So this is the effect you can get when you put these sort of cuts together. Do get a piece of wood and play around, practice. There are lots of different variations which I haven't touched on here. The one thing we do need to deal with though is the corner, because it's very difficult to get these patterns to naturally flow around a corner. We need a sort of step in the way. So I do want to tell you a few things about making corners, and that'll be in our next and final lesson.